My in-laws suggested a family bonding weekend. No spouses allowed, just us and the kids, they insisted. Reluctantly, I agreed. When my kids returned home, they were calling my mother-in-law Mom. What she told them during the trip changed everything. I'm a mother of two wonderful kids, and I thought I had a decent relationship with my in-laws. But something happened recently that turned my world upside down. A few weeks ago, my mother-in-law, Margaret, suggested a family bonding weekend at her cabin in the Poconos. She emphasized that it was just for her, her children, and the grandkids, no spouses allowed. I was hesitant, but my husband, Daniel, thought it was a great idea. He said it would be good for the kids to spend time with their cousins and grandparents. Reluctantly, I agreed. The kids were excited. They packed their bags with enthusiasm, looking forward to the adventure. I kissed them goodbye, reminding them to be polite and to call me if they needed anything. Margaret assured me that everything would be fine. I watched as they drove away, a slight unease settling in my stomach. When the kids returned home 2 days later, something felt off. They were quiet, almost subdued. I asked them about the trip, and they gave short, non-committal answers. Then my youngest, Lily, called Margaret Mom. "Excuse me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Grandma said we should call her Mom now," Lily replied innocently. I felt a chill run down my spine. I looked at Daniel, who seemed just as shocked as I was. I called Margaret immediately. She answered cheerfully, as if nothing was wrong. "Margaret, the kids are calling you Mom. Care to explain?" There was a pause. Then she said, "Well, I just thought it would be nice for them to have another mother figure in their lives. You know, someone with experience." "I'm their mother," I said, my voice rising. "Of course, dear," she replied, unfazed. "But there's no harm in them having more love, is there?" I ended the call, my hands trembling. Over the next few days, I noticed changes in the kids. They started questioning my decisions, saying things like, "That's not how Grandma does it," or "Grandma says you're too strict." It was as if Margaret had planted seeds of doubt in their minds. I tried to talk to Daniel about it, but he was hesitant. He didn't want to confront his mother. He said I was overreacting. Feeling isolated, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I started by checking the kids' phones. I found messages from Margaret, telling them that I didn't understand them, that I was too controlling, and that they could always come to her. I was furious. I documented everything and scheduled a meeting with a family therapist. I wanted to address the situation before it got worse. The therapist listened patiently as I explained the situation. She then spoke to the kids separately. After the sessions, she confirmed my fears. Margaret had been undermining me, creating a divide between me and my children. She suggested that we set clear boundaries with Margaret and limit her interactions with the kids until trust could be rebuilt. Daniel and I sat down with Margaret. I presented the evidence, the messages, and the therapist's findings. Margaret was defensive at first, but eventually, she admitted to overstepping. "I just wanted to be closer to them," she said, tears in her eyes. "But not at the expense of our family," Daniel replied. We agreed that Margaret would take a step back and that all communication with the kids would go through us. It took time, but slowly, the kids started to trust me again. We spent more time together, talking openly about our feelings. Daniel became more supportive, and we worked as a team to rebuild our family. Margaret respected the boundaries we set. She apologized to the kids and to me. Our relationship is still strained, but we're working on it. For a few weeks, things settled down. Margaret didn't call or text the kids. She even skipped a few Sunday dinners, which was a first in over 10 years. I didn't trust it. Something about her silence felt fake, like the calm before a storm. Then one Thursday afternoon, I got a call from the kids' school. The principal wanted to speak with me and Daniel immediately. My heart dropped. When we arrived, the principal looked serious. "There was an incident today," he said. "Your daughter Lily told her teacher that she wants to live with her real mom." When asked who that was, she said Margaret. I sat frozen. Daniel looked like someone had hit him in the stomach. Margaret came to have lunch with them last week, the principal continued. She signed in as a family visitor. Apparently, she's been visiting the kids during school hours. I didn't even know she was allowed to do that. At home, I asked Lily what she meant. Her big, innocent eyes welled up with tears. Grandma said I don't have to live with you if I don't want to, she whispered. She said you're angry all the time, and she has a room ready for me. I sat on the floor, crushed. This woman, my husband's mother, was trying to take my kids away. And now I had proof. Daniel didn't speak for a long time. Later that night, he finally said, "She crossed a line. I'll talk to her." But I didn't want him to talk to her. I wanted a lawyer. I contacted a family lawyer the next day. She was shocked by the school visits, the messages, everything. She told me something that made my blood run cold. If your mother-in-law tries to push for grandparents' rights or custody, and if the kids are repeating her words in school, it could complicate things for you. What do you mean? I asked. She's planting the idea that you're unfit. That's not just manipulation. That's a setup. That same week, Daniel got a call from his sister, Claire. They hadn't spoken in months. She's planning something, Claire told him. Mom asked me to testify if anything goes to court. She says you're too blind to see your wife's damage. I wasn't surprised. Margaret had always favored Claire, and Claire always did whatever her mom said. But hearing that she was building some sort of legal case behind my back? That was next-level evil. Daniel and I decided to confront Margaret together. We didn't go to her house. We met in a public place. A quiet diner in the next town over. Safer. She came dressed in a pale blue suit like she was heading to a board meeting. Cool, calm, fake as ever. Are you trying to take our kids? I asked, not bothering with pleasantries. I'm trying to save them, she said, not missing a beat. From their own mother? Daniel snapped. From chaos, she said. From control. You both are too angry, too rigid. Children need love, not lectures. I couldn't believe it. She truly thought she was the hero in all this. You've been showing up at their school without permission, I said. It stops now, or I will file a restraining order. That made her smile. You do what you think you need to, she said. But I'm not going anywhere. A few days after that tense diner meeting, I found something strange in Lily's backpack. A handwritten letter. Neatly folded, scented with lavender, Margaret's signature perfume. I opened it and my stomach flipped. Dearest Lily, I know things are scary right now, but I want you to know you're always safe with me. If things get worse at home, if Mommy yells again, you can come live here anytime. I already made space in the closet for your clothes and toys. Don't tell anyone I gave you this. This is our secret. There was more. She signed it, Mom. I couldn't breathe. This wasn't just manipulation. This was emotional kidnapping. She was planting escape plans in my daughter's mind. I showed Daniel the letter. He read it once, then again. He didn't say a word. He walked straight outside, got in his car, and drove to Margaret's house. She called the police. Daniel was standing on her porch when the cops arrived. He didn't yell. He didn't threaten. But when he told them why he was there, why he was furious, the officers started taking things more seriously. They told Margaret in front of us both, if she keeps inserting herself between our kids and our authority as parents, legal action will follow. She laughed. I'm just writing my grandchildren letters, she said. Is that a crime now? 3 days later, we got a knock at the door. A woman in a tan coat flashed her ID. Hi, I'm with Child Protective Services. We received a report of possible emotional abuse and unstable home conditions. I nearly passed out. Daniel invited her in. The kids were in the living room, playing video games. Nothing seemed unstable. But the woman asked to speak with each child alone, then us, then checked around the house. She was professional, calm. But I could see it in her face. She'd heard stories like this before. Afterward, she pulled me aside. Someone very close to your family is trying to build a case, she said. Anonymous complaints, calls to school staff, now this home visit. It's all coordinated. I can't tell you who filed the report, but be very careful. That night, Claire called Daniel again. But this time, her tone was different. Mom's spinning out, she said. I didn't sign anything, but she's been trying to convince me to lie in court. She wants me to say Maya screams at the kids and locks them in their rooms. I hope you told her no, Daniel said. I haven't said anything, but I'm scared. She's not well. It was the first time Claire didn't blindly defend her mother. But it wasn't comforting. It was terrifying. A week later, we got a thick envelope in the mail. No return address. Inside were photos. Grainy pictures of me, taken from a distance. At the grocery store. Picking the kids up from school. Sitting in the backyard. One showed me talking sternly to my son, Jonah, who was crying. Another showed me pointing while he stood with his arms crossed. With each photo was a typed note. This is how she treats her children in public. Imagine what happens behind closed doors. Someone was documenting me, stalking me. I reported it to the police. They opened a case, but unless they could prove who took the pictures, their hands were tied. Then Lily did something she never had before. She lied to the therapist. She said she hates living here, the therapist told us later. She said she wants to live with someone else. When I asked who, she clammed up. I didn't know what to think. Margaret's poison was working. She wasn't just confusing them, she was replacing me. Daniel wanted to send the kids away for a while. Somewhere neutral, he said. Maybe your sister's place in Vermont. Let them clear their heads. I couldn't. I wouldn't be apart from them. That's exactly what Margaret wanted, divide and conquer. One night, I went into Jonah's room to put away laundry. Tucked under his mattress was a small voice recorder. It was on. I played it back. Click Jonah. Okay, I'm recording. Margaret, faint, remember what to say. Be brave. Tell them Mommy hits Lily when she gets mad. You have to help your sister. I sat down hard on the edge of the bed. She was training them, coaching them. This wasn't about love. This was a custody battle, and it hadn't even gone to court yet. The next day, I showed the voice recorder to the lawyer. Her eyes widened. This is serious, she said. She's manipulating minors. That's enough to get an emergency restraining order. She filed the motion that same day. But Margaret was always one step ahead. That night, I got an email from a reporter. Local news. Hi, I'm writing a story on local mothers wrongfully accused of abuse. I'd like to speak with you regarding the current situation with your children. Excuse me? I ignored it, but the next morning I saw it. A full article on a Facebook group. Grandmother fights to save grandchildren from abusive home. She gave an anonymous interview, complete with blurred-out photos of my kids and a quote from Claire, taken out of context. The comment section exploded. Strangers called me a monster. My inbox was full of hate. 3 weeks later, we were in court. Margaret showed up with her lawyer and 3 binders full of evidence. Photos, notes, supposed witness statements. I was shaking as I watched her sit down like she owned the place. But we had our own evidence. The texts, the voice recordings, the CPS report that showed nothing was wrong in our home, the therapist's statement about manipulation. And then something happened that no one saw coming. Claire stood up. I'd like to say something, she said. The judge allowed it. I was asked to lie, she began. By my own mother. I was told to say horrible things about my brother and his wife. But I'm done pretending. This isn't about love. This is about control. The courtroom went silent. Margaret didn't look at her. Not once. The judge ruled immediately. A full no-contact order. Margaret was barred from seeing or contacting the children for a minimum of 2 years. If she tried again, she'd face criminal charges. She didn't flinch. She just turned her head and gave me the coldest look I've ever seen in my life. And then she said it loud enough for me to hear. You took everything from me. Someday I'll take it back. The news article was taken down and a retraction was posted. But the damage was done. Parents from the kids' school looked at me differently. Some believed the lies. Others just wanted distance from the drama. Daniel was never the same with his mother. He stopped taking her calls. We even moved, changed the kids' school, started over in a different part of the state. But the damage didn't go away overnight. Lily had nightmares for months. Jonah became quiet, withdrawn. We put them in therapy. Slowly, they opened up again. But sometimes, I still catch them looking out the window like they're expecting her to show up. Here's where I have to admit something. I did scream at the kids. Once, maybe twice. During the worst of it. When I was falling apart and didn't know who to trust. When I thought I was losing them to someone who wore perfume and smiled while planning to destroy me. And I regret it every single day. But I never hit them. I never harmed them. I never stopped loving them. I made mistakes. I was defensive. I pushed Daniel away when I should have pulled him in. I told Lily to stop crying one night when she was scared, because I was scared too and didn't know how to show it. So no, I wasn't perfect. But I wasn't evil. And that line matters. We heard Margaret moved to Florida to live with her sister. We don't talk about her much. The kids have questions sometimes. We answer them carefully. Claire comes around more now. She's rebuilding her relationship with Daniel. We're not best friends, but I respect her for doing the right thing when it mattered. As for me, I keep the voice recorder in my nightstand. Not out of paranoia, but as a reminder. Never again. If you take anything from this story, take this. Watch who your kids spend time with. Even if it's family. Especially if it's family. Because sometimes, the villain isn't the stranger outside. Sometimes, it's the one who asks for a family bonding weekend. And sometimes, the scars they leave aren't visible, but they burn all the same.